40 hearing. Do you know who the prosecutor brought in as witnesses? Their witnesses were Joe Creed and Peter Kent. Glenn Harris wanted to testify, but they wouldn't give him immunity. I mean, if you're seeking the truth, give the guy immunity. I mean, he's the driver of the car. You could really resolve this issue right now. Peter Kent was in jail during this time, in and out of jail. The district attorney's office, their detective Walkerthine and the ADA Lato went to visit him. When they went to visit him, this is a true story. When they went to visit Billy Rand in Riverhead, he started crying. Now, Rand is like 6'4", the scariest figure you could ever meet, and one of the dumbest. When they went to see him, he started crying. Now, if I was a detective, I would say, Jesus, I think I got something. And there's your guy. I said, here's your day. If you want to talk now, we'll take care of it. You know, maybe you'll testify for us. And they told him, don't worry. Don't worry. We know you didn't do it. And that was testimony.
Jay, that was Peter Kent, wasn't it?
Peter Kent, I'm sorry. What did I say? It was Peter Kent, I'm sorry. Peter Kent.
Unfortunately, I've never had any real interaction with the legal system, but the last thing that the person, the innocent or the guilty person says is that they swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and then they plead to something that is not the truth, and they walk out the door. And it just seems like that really undermines, you know, to somebody from the outside looking in, that the truth is being upheld within the court system.
For the innocent person who has to plead guilty because of the pressures of facing the trial, facing the jeopardy of sentencing and penitentiary time, etc., in order to avoid that, the only way out is to say that he's guilty and plead guilty. And you're raising something that, you know, we deal with, and it's just fictions are created. I mean, people who are charged with, you know, rape end up pleading to assault. People who are charged with larceny, they plead guilty to disorderly conduct. I mean, it's just, there are so many things about plea bargaining that are wrong, but the greatest wrongs are perpetrated by the system against the innocent.
Well, we all did predict that Braslow was going to deny the 440, but do you remember in the puffin room when Bruce Barker was on the stage and the question was asked, before the appeal was filed, what's going to happen with Marty? I mean, and Bruce said unequivocally, without any doubt, he says, no matter which way the appeal goes, Marty's never going to go to trial again. Just not going to go to trial. They can't afford to put this case back on a trial. And with that, if you have an opinion, what role do you think then Attorney General Cuomo played in all of this? It's a question.
Cuomo basically fixed the case for Spoder. I mean, you know, I'm just saying these things, it's an allegation, what I'm saying. I know when Cuomo ran for Attorney General, he lost Suffolk County. When Marty's appeal was overturned, you know, and he was set free, Cuomo was in charge of the investigation. And it just amazes me that the Attorney General's investigation was the same as the Suffolk District Attorney's investigation. They came after us, Marty's defense team. They didn't go for the truth. And then, of course, today your governor, when he was elected, he won Suffolk County. And we do know that he had meetings with Spoder after, you know, after Marty's conviction was overturned by the appellate court.
Those are the questions I'm glad that you referred to, my colleague.
Bruce Lambert. Hi, Jay. I just wanted to follow up on Spoder, of course, just attorney throughout the 440 proceeding. And in addition, is it not true that in addition to his being the lawyer for Detective McCready earlier, at an earlier time, when McCready himself was up on charges in this assault case, that he was also, further back, the police union lawyer who was opposing the State Investigation Commission report an inquiry into the Suffolk Police and DA's office back in the 70s. They tried to stop that report, some of these same things that Barry Scheck is citing in his lawsuit.
Yes.
And also that one of his partners defended in a drug case the son of Jerry Stewarman. Jerry Stewarman was the business partner of Marty Tankleff's father.
That's
And
correct.
he owed hundreds of thousands of dollars that Marty's dad was trying to collect. They were in a big dispute over this. And Jerry Stewarman was at that house, in the Tankleff house, the night of the murders. He was the last guest to leave. And it's the accusation of many of the witnesses you found that he was behind all of this, the hit crew with Creedon and Kent.
Without a doubt.
And Harris. And despite all of this, Spoda did not claim he was trying to stay hands-off from this proceedings. Going to be a Chinese wall, he wouldn't get involved. That it was he picked the investigator on this case.
Walter Walker, the investigator, was a retired detective that worked with McCready that was brought back specifically to work this case.
And during one of the days of the 440 hearings, we could see Spoda in the back hallway, back near the judge's chambers. And when the hearing resumed, he came and sat down in the audience. He was going to be hands-off on this case.
Right, he was
So
going to
is all of this not true?
You're 100% right. You can't make this up. You just can't make it up. Everything you said is true.
What about, was there an allegation, I'm sorry, that Detective McCready had a business relationship with Stillman before the homicides? I think that came up also during the 440 hearing?
Well, what came out of it, let's go back to the trial. Okay, McCready testified, and Jerry Stillman testified that they didn't know each other. We found out in our investigation, which we presented to the court, that the two of them had a relationship. That Jerry Stillman did know McCready. Now, if that was known during Marty's trial, wouldn't you think it might have been a little different for Bob Gottlieb during the trial? We put them together.
There you go.
Terry Schofield, I have one more question. Given what we know about Tom Spoda, both prior to, during 440, and since the 440, does it frighten you or put you at any unease to know that once he's term limited out of the DA's office, he's up for a consideration for Suffolk County Police Commissioner?
Is that question for me?
That's to both of you.
I don't live in Suffolk County, so that'll be my answer.
I have no answer. I have no comment.
He will be there.
I have a question for you, Wesley Martin. Wasn't there another connection with McCready and Marty's sister, where Marty's sister invested in McCready's bar, and she was the sole inheritor while Marty remained in jail, and therefore there was a definite definite motivation on Detective McCready's part to make sure that Marty was convicted. Wasn't there a connection?
Well, I may need a little help from Ron, but I believe when Marty was arrested and prior to his conviction, he was the sole inheritor of the estate. Once Marty was convicted, then of course he lost the inheritance. He used some of the money for his defense. Detective McCready and Marty's stepsister, Shari Rother, opened up a bar in Riverhead after the trial, after the conviction.
But no connection.
No